Hi, I'm Jennifer Wood.
And I'm Jennifer Connor.
From Equestrian Businesswomen, and you're listening to Equestrian B2B, the podcast that brings together industry leaders, entrepreneurs, and equestrians for conversations about how they build and sustain a successful business.
On today's show, we speak with five-time U.S. Olympian Anne Kursinski about becoming a professional rider, building her barn on 120 acres, her career success, and how it has evolved.
Anne Kursinski is a 5-time Olympic show jumper with 2 team silver medals. In 1991, the U.S. Olympic Committee voted her Female Equestrian Athlete of the Year. She won individual and team gold medals in the 1983 Pan American Games. In 1988 and 1992, Anne was named AHSA Horsewoman of the Year, and in 1995, she was Equestrian of the Year. She was inducted into the Show Jumping Hall of Fame in 2017. Anne has won nearly every major equestrian competition there is to win. Some of her major wins include the Grand Prix of Aachen, the American Invitational, the American Gold Cup, the Hampton Classic, the Grand Prix of Rome, and the Gran Premio Pulsar in Monterrey, Mexico. She has ridden on 47 U.S. Nations Cup teams, and she has competed in 10 World Cup finals. Anne has been a member of 3 U.S. World Equestrian Games teams. Anne is actively involved in the development and promotion of the sport. She is a USHJA clinician, member of the USHJA and USET Foundation executive committees, and on the USEF Board of Directors. Anne is the chef to keep for the U.S. Show Jumping Development Program and was a selector for the 2014 World Equestrian Games bronze medal-winning U.S. team and the 2016 Rio Olympics silver medal-winning U.S. team.
Anne has an online instructional site, Riding and Jumping Mentor, where members benefit from her vast knowledge via instructional videos and articles. A new all-color edition of Anne's best-selling book, Riding and Jumping Clinic, was released in 2020. Through the Market Street facility in Frenchtown, New Jersey, Kursinski uses her great talents as a trainer and clinician to help riders achieve their goals. Anne has worked with many top riders such as Hunter Holloway, Victoria Birdsall, Karen Poley, and eventing Olympian Caroline Martin. Kursinski enjoys teaching clinics all over the country as well as her regular clients and students.
Hi, Anne. Thanks so much for coming here today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're really excited to talk to you about your career. And, we were talking before we started recording, and it's been 23 years since I worked for you. So it's so awesome to catch up with you like this and learn more about you, too.
Well, thank you. And it doesn't seem so long ago. That's amazing. and I know you were a good part of my business then. And It's been great to see what you've done with your business since you've moved on and done more. It's exciting to watch.
Thank you.
I think Jen knows you super well, but I don't know you as well. So I would love to start out asking you, when did you start riding? And did you always know that you wanted to be a professional?
Well, I started riding when I was 4 years old. I was a little girl at Flint Ridge Riding Club in Pasadena, California. And, I just always loved horses and loved to ride. And how could I get better or win, that? But how could I get better? How someday could I jump bigger jumps or whatever, all of that. And so with that, I don't know, my passion and desire, I guess I did think even when I was a junior that I wanted to do it professionally, to become a professional. And my mother was just a mother. She never had a job or anything. And Dad was a school teacher and a music teacher, church organist. Oh. So, not great finances or anything, but they were always very supportive. That was kind of, I guess a childhood dream for sure to do it professionally.
Wow, that's great. It's funny, Jen and I were sitting there yesterday watching the under 25 class, and I said, remember when we were young and we wanted to jump the big jumps? And now I look at this and I'm like, no thanks, I'm good.
That was way too big.
When I was a kid, I was like, yes, let's go higher. I want to do it without stirrups. Now I can brag about it. Yeah. And now I'm like, oh God, 0.80? Oh, I think I'm good.
And so did you turn professional after you were a junior?
I did. I went right from the juniors into riding as a professional. I was riding with Jimmy Williams, and even as a junior, I was riding other people's horses, maybe in the junior hunters or junior jumpers, even doing some open jumpers, I guess, when I was a junior. So I stepped right into when I changed my age, I was 18 and ready to become a professional.
Yeah. And was there anyone at that time who you looked up to or who modeled like how to be a professional?
Well, at the time, as a rider for sure, Susie Hutchison, who worked for Jimmy also at the same time, Lou Thomas. There were other those were the main. Susie especially, I really looked up to at the time. She was a little older than I was, and to be able to do what she did. And then I even rode with Hilda Gurney a little bit. Jimmy would have Hilda, who's a dressage, Olympic dressage rider, and come in and do some dressage. And again, she was another one of, wow, Hilda went to the Olympics. And it was dressage, but how could I do that? And Kathy Kusner was around a little bit then in California. And of course, Mary Chapeau actually was way ahead of me. She was already, of course, on the East Coast. I mean, she's older, but again, was a Jimmy student. And and Mary went to the Olympics. And how could I do that? How could I, follow that path?
Did you think you had to come to the East Coast to accomplish that?
Oh, for sure. But I started for sure in California, but I was very fortunate at the time because even in '76, I think that was my last year of high school. But I got to ride on the U.S. team at Spruce Meadows, and that was just the second year Spruce Meadows had ever started, and it's. The footprint was the same as what it is today, but I mean, it's grown and changed, and they just had their 50th anniversary last year. But that was like stepping into real international competition. I'd been east to do the medal finals as a kid. I'd been to Harrisburg and Madison Square Garden to show. But to say, okay, I really want to get on a U.S. team. So it started in Calgary, California and Calgary, but even from there then, if you really want to do it, probably you've got to go to the East Coast, which again, Mary Chapeau had done, Robert Ridland, who rode with Jimmy, also people from the West Coast had gone east.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting. Did you have any other jobs, though, before you started your own business?
No, just that I had worked for Jimmy, really, and then rode for him. And then in '81, I moved to the East Coast to ride with George Morris and moved it to Hunterdon and kind of started my business then. Had Fran Steinwedel, who had been an owner in California. She, had some horses for me then and sort of went east and started my own thing. Yeah. Yeah.
And were you aware of difficulties in starting your own business?
I guess I was sort of, but I was so somehow I'll make it work. Somehow, this, I want to ride, I want to go to the Olympics. And again, enough sort of support from my family. Fran Steinwedel, who was a wonderful owner, I can't thank her enough for all that she did for me through the years. But, George Morris, definitely, when I got hooked up with him, to go to the World Cup finals, actually get a horse to be able to, actually what really started it also was the Los Angeles Olympics. And I tell my kids today when I'm helping them with the 3-star teams and things, and the young riders, LA '84 was coming. And that was like '81 when I went to the East Coast. But to get on the '84 team, Olympic team, which then was like a Walt Disney story, this little kid from California that nobody knew, how is she going to get on the Olympic team? And then got some owners from the riding club, Flint Ridge Riding Club, even when I had gone east to ride with George. But the plan was, how do I get to the LA Olympics? And so that was this, in my business, I don't know, I had people they paid for their horses somehow, and I rode them, and to try to get to the Olympics. That was really a dream and a focus for sure.
Wow. That's amazing. It's amazing though when you're young that you know that and that's your goal, because it's also for me, I always knew that was never my goal. I grew up in the horse industry and I loved horses, and when I was a kid, people would be like, "Are you going to go to the Olympics?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." I don't know why I said that, but you know what? I just didn't have that passion to do that. That wasn't a trajectory I ever thought about. So it's amazing that there's two sides to that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody's different, like horses. All horses are different, what they end up doing,
Yeah.
And when you were at Hunterdon, you worked for George, but did you have your own business as well? Like
I had my own business.
and-
I never did work for George.
Okay.
I was always separate from George. That was just the way it was. I rode with him. I rode sort of under him. But I didn't work for him. Rented stalls there. And he took me under his wing for sure. And at the same time, like Joe and Conrad, Joe Farges, Conrad Homefeld, Leslie, some of those still, again, they were at their own stables and things. But George, of course, was kind of a big mentor then to go on and go to Europe or go to the World Cup finals.
Yeah. And what was the moment where, I mean, you were kind of saying the whole time, I want to go to the Olympics. What was the moment you were like, I'm going to do it and this can actually happen?
Oh, gosh. Probably not till it was really named. The team was named. I got Livius, this wonderful horse that this group syndicate bought with my family and the members of the riding club, France and Iwadell, that George had picked out, that Emile Hendricks had ridden, and I think he won the European Championships with Emile, and that was sort of, okay, we're going to do this. And then George said, to go to the World Cup finals, we're going to go to the Pan Am Games, we're going to jump in Europe. He sort of had a plan, and I was like, yes, sir, whatever you tell me, and I'll do the best I can. And then some other horses to help sort of back him up, but he was the main horse. So going to the trials, Southampton or Lake Placid, it was sort of named, I think, after Lake Placid, the team, and getting named to the team was amazing. That was the first Olympic Games, but actually leading up to that, in '83, then it was to get to the first thing, the Pan Am Games.
Yeah.
And that was in Caracas, Venezuela, and to make that team. And Michael was on it, Michael Matz, Leslie Howard, I think, and maybe Donald Cheska. And in the end, I won the individual gold, and we won the team gold, and that was like this miracle. Oh my God, how? And I was early 20s, and wow, to have that all happen, and but hard work, a great team around me, as I say, with George and Fran and the owners, and support. But to really follow your dreams, and hopefully the luck, happens.
Right.
Did you travel internationally before you started showing horses internationally?
No,
your family or
I hadn't. Mother had, my family I think had, but I hadn't really. It was really horses that, lots of travel then.
Yeah, because you've gone to so many places because of them now.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, travel all over because of the horses, all that they've done for career and life. Yeah,
so cool. When did you say, okay, I've got to get out of Hunterdon, I'm going to have my own place and start Market Street?
Well, Market Street, the name actually, I think started when I was at Hunterdon, just the name of the business, because I was separate from George, but I was at George's. And developed more students then a bit, but still my career was always riding and showing and get to the next Olympics. And I was lucky to get to 5 Olympic Games, really every quadrennium, sort of let's find another horse, that's sort of this dream. But business then, yes, of trying to buy and sell other horses and have clients, students, different students through the years that would ride with me and all that fun and that helps support everything. But then like 25 years ago, I finally bought my own farm. That's when, and George was sort of, maybe he was going to sell the lower barn where I had been. And I had been at his place for like 21 years or something, a long time at Hunterdon. But then, okay, time to get my own place. And so not so far, about 20 minutes from Hunterdon, I'm in New Jersey. And finally, bought my own piece of property and built a barn. And that was kind of scary. That was like, how is this ever going to happen? But again, a good team behind me that helped.
Were you saving money to say, for like a down payment to do this?
I don't know how it happened, quite honestly. I'm really not the best businesswoman, never have been. But things have always sort of worked out. But some family money, my mother had passed away, and sort of a trust kind of money was sitting there. And then Sally Glassman, who I think is an amazing financial gal from Merrill Lynch at the time, and I had hooked up with Sally and sort of, could I do this? I actually had looked at farms in the area to rent. barns or where could I go to start something, and went to a little place nearby for a little while. But then it was like, well, why not? I'm just going to do my own thing, buy a property and see. And so Sally was like, yeah, we can make this happen. So it was more a trust money family money that was there. And she thought it was a good investment. And so I have 120 acres in Frenchtown, New Jersey. And
And you built the whole, like you planned out the barn the way you wanted it and everything from the bottom up?
Yes, absolutely. There's an old stone house. There's a wonderful old stone house on the bottom part of the property. Many people up at the barn don't even know it's there. But so there's a house and some old stone buildings down below. But up above, it had been hay and cornfields to the farmer across the street. And so it was like, okay, here goes. And Hoffy, my business partner, Carol Hoffman, who had worked for Patty Hugroth and other people before that, we had gotten together in, 86, 87. And she was great. She still shows hunters and things, but a stable manager, horsewoman, had groomed and gone to Madison Square Garden with Patty. And then again, Olympics games with me, just her experience of horsemanship and all the barns she'd been in. So she really designed, but she especially designed the barn. And even then, it was interesting talking to good other horsemen, friends of hers, how wide the aisles or how the hay drops or all those little things. She really, really in the end designed it. And we went off to Florida and came back and the barn was built.
That's amazing.
Sort of that, I don't know how it all happened, but it happened.
I can see Hoffy being very detail oriented on what was going on while it was being built.
Absolutely. Very meticulous, all the details for sure.
Yeah. And so how do you think Hoffy kind of shaped your business going forward once you had that barn?
Well, again, the care of the horses, we take great pride in that. And even if I don't have Olympic horses now, any of them, children's jumper, the hunter, the young jumper, the whatever, they're all taken care of pretty high standard, pretty Olympic-like. That's just, again, attention to detail. How can you be your best? Trying to stay on top of it. Even myself personally, as much as I can, even though I travel and I'm not always there, but the vet, the blacksmith, what kind of hay, what kind of feed, who's getting what. That part of it, Hoffy's been hugely responsible for, the care of all of that. And again, overseeing the grooms, teaching. We've taught so many of them, they're a little bit transient as it is part of the business. Right. But our foundation of we do it like this, the best care of the horses. And it's so cool to see horses come in and change. And I mean, people say that, oh my God, the before and after pictures, that part of it especially. And where the paddocks were laid out. Actually, Robert Jolicoeur helped with some of that also, but Hoffy's knowledge of all that, how to lay out the paddocks. And I feel like I was always more rider trainer. And her the stable management and really overseeing that. And then again, the staff staying on top of for the best care of the horses,
Yeah. It's very similar to what Laura was telling us about her relationship with Mary Elizabeth.
Right.
And I kind of feel like when you look at the top riders, they all have that person. And I think it's so necessary to have, because I think it would be very difficult to do that and focus on being a top international rider at the same time.
No, absolutely. You need, like I say, the team and somebody like that you can really trust and believe it's all going to happen. The horses, the care, the feed with the vet. I mean, not that I'm not there and I'm really on that also. I love that. But somebody, and then I can not have to worry about it. I can, again, the riding, the training, the owners, can focus on these other things. But somebody that you really trust and believe in and understands what we believe is best. And again, experience, her experience, even way back the hunters, she still talks about Patty Hugroth did this, or Gene Cunningham, from the long time ago, what they did. And then things that happened at Hunterdon or, the different places she's been, we've been,
Yeah.
Did you find it initially hard to kind of let go of some of that?
Oh yeah. Yes, and even and yet we work together well, but even some of that, even with the help, sometimes it's okay. Hoffy, can you talk to them about this or that? Because I can I don't want to say Olympian, but again, high standards of the care of the horses, all of that. And whether it's a new groom or something, all of that, working with your whole team is so important. Right. But sometimes, yes, you have to learn to turn over things. Okay, here, this isn't for me to talk about, or I can mention it, but that's all part of running a business. I think that's so important to who has what jobs. Not that they don't cross over, and even with us, it's the riding, the teaching, the blacksmith, the hay, the feet, all those things together, and even trying to teach the kids that with my business, I want them to know about the vet and the blacksmith and everything that they learn about their horses. So trying to share all that, and yet at the same time, everybody has their own job to do. Right. That's a business. That's a little tricky sometimes that you have to figure out. Yeah. The dynamics, I guess, delegate. And personalities, and delegate. Yeah.
I think that was when I was a bloodstock manager. It was one of the hardest things was to be able to let go and delegate and be like, I know it's going to get taken care of. Like I was foaling out mares, and it was like, ooh, I wanted to show up at every foaling every single time just to make sure it was done the right way. And I got burnt out really quick on it. Yes, so for sure. I think you have to learn to delegate when you're in a position when you have so much going on and so many other things.
Yes. Oh, I think that's so important. And to be, again, believe in your team and everything that way. Or even now, if I'm off to Europe with a 3-star team and I'm not there when something's happening or they're going to a show, to believe that it's going to happen. And today with the cell phone and even videos, you can sort of be there if you need to. On the other hand, to focus on something else, to be able to say, okay, I don't have to worry about that because my team at home is taking care of it. I can focus on winning here, doing my job here. Yeah.
Did you find any barriers when you were starting your business?
Any barriers? Interesting. So sometimes I do think, but not in a big way, being a woman, some people would say there may be more men, top men riders or owners that wanted a man or whatever. But I'd say for me, not really. I never really, but I've heard other people say that to me. I sort of asked that. I just tried to ride and do my best and believe things would happen. I don't know, sort of a little bit crazy, but that's the whole follow your dreams. And again, barriers, to get the money for a horse, those kind of things would be hard. Those kind of, where am I going to get the money to buy arrows, when he was this 5-year-old sort of nothing. Who can I go to and ask? That would probably, I have to say, as an athlete, rider, athlete, trainer, whatever. But then when I was riding myself more, to try to get the money, try to get the owners, sometimes if you didn't have all of them, to ask for money. And how many times the door is closed and somebody says no. That happens. And some people, they can't do it, or it's not what they want to do right now. You get it. But to sort of step up and ask another one, to not give up, to say, okay, that was probably one of the hardest things. And yet somehow it all, I was so, this desire, I want to make it happen. Somehow it always did kind of work out. Finding a horse, but then even that, finding the owners to get people in.
Yeah. What do you think was the easiest part about starting it?
The easiest part, doing what I love to do. I don't know, being able to ride and, a little bit, okay, I'm out here now a little bit on my own, or got the farm and still was associated with George and things. You always work with him if I needed him at the big shows at the time. And but probably wow. And then it's like coming home from Florida, wow, this really is mine. Part of it a little overwhelming, but wow, I built it and I have it. And this literally really a childhood dream. I mean, when I was a little kid, I had the little horses and a little farm. I play with the horses. And then again, wow, I did build, I did go to the Olympics. I did do things. I did manifest this farm. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? So doing what I love to do.
Yeah, I love that mindset.
For sure. I think it's so important to remind yourself of the wins and the success and say, I've gotten this far. I should be really proud of myself.
Right. No,
Because I think women don't do that. They downplay everything.
Absolutely. And I have to say, I can do that and did do that a lot and kind of had to work on that. And I think today with social media and everything happening so fast, on to the next thing, on to the next thing, I think taking the time to say, yeah, wow, I got a great new owner, I got a great new horse, or I was third in a good class. I was third here in Wellington in a class. I mean, isn't that wonderful? Or those to take the time, so I think so many of us always want to, I think we tend to beat ourselves up. Sometimes you think it's going to improve you. A lot of times I think that's not always the case.
Yeah.
But, and sort of the, not being good enough. Oh, I'm not good enough. And, from when you're a little kid, will I ever be good enough? And even doing things, going to the Olympics, or, oh, can I do it again? Or, or I didn't get the gold medal, I just got a silver medal. Sort of after the fact. I mean, after the fact, that kind of, that's just something to work on, I think. So I think what you said about, saying, where I am is a good thing. And look what I've done. And,
right.
Yeah.
When did you start thinking about what you would do after you stopped riding? Was that ever in your mind, or did it just happen gradually?
Oh, it kind of happened gradually, I have to say. I never thought I'd stop riding and showing. I mean, that's all I wanted to do. And even when I saw some older riders, like slowly getting out of it, whatever, I think, God, how could they do that? They look fit and fine. How could they do that? And then gradually, I mean, finally, just last year was the first year I didn't really show. I mean, maybe I showed a hunter, some green hunter, but I didn't really. And now I am okay with it. I now to coach and teach and do what I do, and I still ride. I ride every day, and I do all of that. But then I am okay with it now. I don't know. It sort of happened over time. Initially, it was sort of a hard, I want to do it, and yet then again, having a top horse. Having an injury maybe here or there, whatever, just getting a little older, that part of it, even though I think I'm pretty fit and stay active and all of that. But finally it was like, okay, now I'm okay with it. So it wasn't like some people I hear, okay, when I turn 50 or whatever, that's I'm going to stop. And I never had that. I mean, again, I think because of the horse or the whatever was happening, to keep giving it a try, to keep, no, I want to do it. And then finally, okay. And the sport has changed in that the price of the horses, the cost of everything has changed dramatically. All of that is for sure a whole nother big nut to crack today.
Right. I mean, you talked about being able to ask for money and find the money for horses then, but I feel like it's 10 times harder now.
Yes. For sure. I think it's very difficult. The prices today are staggering sometimes. And yet there are people that can do it and afford to do it. And in a funny way, in my now, not that I'm not riding, I know sometimes it's almost easier to help other people to help like a young rider or somebody that needs a little help to go talk to people for them or their owners or, wearing a different hat now than when it was just me.
Right. Yeah. And were you ever planning for retirement and putting money away, like a Roth IRA? Did anybody talk to you about that?
Well, Sally Glassman did. So there's some of that. Probably I didn't do it well enough or soon enough or whatever. If I were to do it again and on young people, I'd say, yes, plan for your later life and your retirement and all of that. But for sure, there's some of that. Not, like I say, wasn't a big thing, sort of more in the moment. And again, my riding career. And then even when that sort of like, oh, okay, now I'm not going to show so much. So business sort of changed in that sense of more teaching. Not that I didn't always do it, but more teaching and that sales, again, my clinics, now being the developing coach chef of the sort of U.S. show jumping team. Yeah. The 3-star riders and some of the young rider teams. So that's all fun also. But now a little bit now, what do I do? No, I keep doing the same thing for sure. And I love doing it. And I love even recently flatting a younger horse we have and helping my assistant with it, how to do it and what I do. And I mean, I love that. I really love doing that. That part is a blast. It's fun.
Yeah.
And how do you think you've changed over time as a business owner and an employer?
I think more about the business now. Again, and things are more expensive. And again, how to have the barn as full as I can at home and, have clients, how to, again, stay out there I think it is a young man's sport, a young person's sport. And again, I sometimes feel like, oh, I'm not showing. So, and I do have a very good new assistant, Hannah Turing, who's originally from Virginia, but she rides very well. And so great to have her, help with that part of it. So to, work on business differently than when it was just sort of chasing my Olympic dream or international competition for myself and owners. Now it's a business with sort of more clients, more client based, and then, as I say, doing clinics and things that are fun. I like the income, of course, but I do like going around the country if I can help other people with their horses. Or really the horses with their people, that, and in different areas of the country. Occasionally in Europe, I'll teach a clinic, but it's fun to see what's the West Coast doing, or what are they doing in Texas, or Florida up north. So that I enjoy a lot. Also, occasionally judging like the U.S. ET finals or the talent search finals, things like that. What are the younger people doing also? So I can stay busy.
Yeah.
It's kind of creating multiple revenue streams for you as well, which I think is important for people to realize that you're not in just one box.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, for sure.
Diversifying is, I think, important when you stop the main part of your career.
Absolutely, for sure. And then some sales, kind of trying to work on sales more. I'd done some of that, but not as much as, say, Leslie or Katie, growing up when I was sort of and we were all doing that, but they were doing more sales and things and sort of more of that. Like I say, the teaching I love to do also, people that want to learn. But as you say, diversifying, having definitely different streams of income.
Yeah.
Very important.
Did you always enjoy teaching?
I have. It's interesting. When I was younger, when I was even a junior, Jimmy would have me teach younger riders. So I started teaching when I was really young, and some people do it better than others for sure. There are some top riders that can't say what they're doing or whatever.
Right.
My dad was a school teacher, a music teacher, all of that. So I enjoy it, and to me, it's a lot in a way like riding. Though it's how to get to your student. And sometimes you have to be stronger. Sometimes you have to be softer. Sometimes you have to demonstrate. It's better to demonstrate. There are different avenues how to get the best information to your student and the best out of your student. But very like riding. Each horse is different. Some are hot. Some are cold. Today I'm going to try this or I'm going to try that. And so to me, it's fun. It's a fun thing to do, almost a game, but teaching. And so I've always enjoyed that. And then again, from the, you go off to Europe and some people say, oh, you lose your students or whatever, you're riding and you go for a month or whatever off to Europe. Well, no, when you come back, you're better, from all the experiences, watching and learning. And again, being the winning and losing, being able to share all that with your students. Even again, with my chef job, I think I can, when the team is winning or losing, or you got to talk to a parent or an owner. Been there, done that. My first World Cup finals, I went to tell the kids we had gotten Livius, and he was this famous horse from Europe, and I'm this like 21 years old girl, and I go to the World Cup finals, and there's Rodney Jenkins, and all on the U.S. team, and Michael Matz, and these famous riders on the U.S. team, and I'm one of the ones from California, and it's my birthday, and this syndicate has come. All these people, I don't know, 10 people have come from the riding club and whatever. And we're at the Scandinavium in Europe and Gothenburg. And so I'm going to show, and this is all exciting. I've qualified to get there. And it's my birthday. And so I walk in the main room, and it is packed. I'm this little kid from California. They're all packed. And they announce, of course, that it's my birthday. Oh, no. And it's the organizer's birthday. He's since passed away, but I got to know him. The man running the whole order, it's his birthday. Max. And I go to show and stop and fall off at the Liverpool. That's when they first had water in a plastic Liverpool. And it was indoor under the lights. And oh my God. And I had to lead him out of the ring. And I was mortified. I thought, I will never ride again. I will never ride again. I've got to give up. It's over. And sure enough, I went on to 5 Olympics and medals and whatever. But to tell my student, these things happen. They happen to all top riders. And, fight for it, learn from it. They're all learning experiences. And
Yeah.
so as a teacher, to have the empathy also for the winning and the losing with your students.
Yeah,
sure.
that's definitely helpful.
You lose a lot more than you win in
No
this
question.
sport.
Yep. That's all part of it.
Yeah. And, when we were talking about different revenue streams, I wanted to talk a little bit about your books because I think they've been so instrumental in so many young riders' careers. Like, I read it and was obsessed with it. I still have your books in my closet. And I wanted to talk about kind of how you came up with it and wrote it, and what was the impetus behind it.
Yeah, well, that started really a long time ago because
Yeah.
how it started, I had done some articles with Mandy Lorraine, Practical Horseman.
Okay.
Had done some how-to articles. They used to do those. And I'll never forget it, Madison Square Garden. So that's how long ago it was. Sitting with Billy Steinkraus, who was also involved in, I forget the book company he was involved in.
Yes.
Anyway, and Billy spoke to both Mandy and me that I should do a book. Anne, you should do a book. And, Billy was very intelligent and that kind of methodical guy. And so that's how it really all started. And originally, it's on the tip of my tongue, his publishing company. It was supposed to, the original book was going to be more of a coffee table book, almost with more photographs. To really see the photos at Doubleday. He was with Doubleday.
Okay.
And Mandy took photos and we talked about, and it was sort of it's called Anne Kursinski's Riding and Jumping Clinic. And it was sort of a how-to from lower level walk, trot, canter to shoulder in and half pass and jumping cross rails all the way up to jumping big jumps. And that's how it started. And yet then we had to make it smaller, a normal size book not a coffee table book, and take out a lot of photos. And I'll never forget Mandy asking me these questions, but, over and over, look at something and look with both eyes. Well, you don't look with one eye. We'd have these conversations,
Yes.
over and over to get it. So Mandy's thing was so anybody could read it.
Yeah.
Anybody in the middle of the country that never had a riding lesson, whatever. And so that's how it all got started. And
Cool.
And then Trafalgar picked it up some years ago. And then they actually added a couple of years ago this hunter section to it. It was done again with a hunter section, hunter derbies, and it's fun because some schools and different people, yes, I still autograph some at clinics and things, but how they use them, in classes and things. Not that you make a lot of money doing a book, and especially today, but again, to give back to the sport, to try to help others. I mean, even my teaching, that's, as I say, it's for the horses a lot of the time, almost more than for the riders.
Right.
And I really hope that, the not only American style, but the care of the horse, the why we ride like we ride. I don't know. I can get very, very passionate about that. Not just pay the money, buy the horse, go show it, don't work, buy another one, whatever. Learn to ride, appreciate all of that stuff, the horse, and really the love of the horse.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's of course why I started and why I still do it, the love of the horse. So to try to give that to not just kids, but other people, Yeah.
So would you say giving back is your the most enjoyment you get out of your job? Or is
I
there
don't know if it's
another
most, but I do get a lot of that, and even when people say, oh gosh, the clinic I rode with you years ago, occasionally, you hear from somebody that, that still worked or that helped or after a show or whatever, and to see people improve and their horse or the horse improve. I mean, that really is, I don't know, I enjoyed that very, very much, the animals and how I can help the people for sure. And I don't know, today, watching the sport change and changing in the time with the sport, I mean, it's amazing. The breeding today, the horses today, it is incredible.
Yeah.
What they do, how high and how fast and how careful, and seeing riding has improved dramatically also. I think a lot of riding has improved. So that is exciting. But again, the care of the horses, what goes on behind the scenes, to make sure that's not lost, the art of all of it. Even talking to Joe Farr just recently at one of the shows, and what he learned from Mrs. Dillon, and the basics and how important the basics are. And some people like to skip the steps, and I think sometimes it's not so good, and especially for the horses. It's not good for the rider, but it's not good for the horses. So
Yeah. And you've mentioned a few times working with USCF as the development chef to keep. Can you talk about your decision to do that and why you wanted to do it and what it's brought to you?
Yeah, well, I enjoyed that, staying current with the sport, and I talk to Robert Ridland, kind of a couple times a month. We chat what his teams are doing, the big teams, and mine, and keep in touch. And these working with these younger riders that will eventually get to his 5-star teams and will eventually be our future Olympians. So it's fun to bring them along, as I say, sharing my stories or. This could happen, or this is why you need to do this and this because that otherwise it's not going to work. Those kind of things. So I enjoy that, and the travel and to Europe, and just staying current with the sport that way. But really helping others for sure. And as I say, even talking to them and the parents of, my Olympic dream '84, and now it's coming again. Los Angeles Olympics are happening again, and so to get there, so that's fun. But I still love my own business and my own teaching and my own horses and my stable and having people in there for clinics to share what I do. But it is, I do enjoy the team aspect of it. I've always been a team player sort of. So stay involved that way.
Yeah.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. I thought hopefully doing the same thing. I love what I do and hope I can still be doing it. And like I say, helping others. And again, the top pros same thing. There are riders that aren't showing anymore, but out there still helping other riders coming up and with their horses and the training and all of that. And yes, giving back to the sport in that way. I do enjoy that. I had good mentors. I had great people that supported me. And if I can do that for other people as well, I don't know, it feels good.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
Cool. Well, it's been great talking with you about your career and learning more about it. At the end of each episode, we ask the guests the same 4 questions, and Connor starts with the first.
What is your unfair advantage over others?
My unfair advantage, I guess, to never give up. I'm always these goals and just never give up. If I have a goal, I'm going after it.
Amazing.
What's something worth giving up and what's worth fighting for?
Worth giving up. That's a good question. I guess trying to control everything, giving up that, trying to control everything. And then again, fighting for, what I believe in, whatever I'm passionate about, to fight for that, whether it's this young team going somewhere and, how do I get the best out of them, or a new horse, a young horse, or whatever. But, that would probably,
All right.
What's the last thing that made you laugh really hard?
Oh, my gosh. That's a good question. The last thing. That is a good question. Wow. I was actually just the other day, we were kind of laughing, but I'm thinking, what was it about? I think sort of maybe forgetting something. I know that sounds sort of silly. Now, like I say, I can't remember it. But really, I think forgetting, maybe even on a not a team thing, but I forget. But anyway, sort of forgetting, and then oh my God, and then remembering. I'm sorry, I can't remember, but that kind of thing of and today being okay with that.
Yeah.
Years ago, again, control. I wouldn't have been so okay with it, and that's why actually I was cracking up, because I could be vulnerable enough to it's okay.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
Okay.
This is off topic, but. How long did it take you to be able to, I don't know, reveal to other people parts about yourself that you hadn't done before?
Yeah, that took some time,
Yeah.
for sure. That took some time. And yet, I'm glad that I have and I can now. And and I think also as a teacher and a coach, that's important that you, again, can be vulnerable.
Yeah.
There was a time when to be so perfect, I really wanted to be perfect.
Yeah.
To be the best and perfect. And even seeing other mentors that could be vulnerable or open about mistakes or what had happened in your life beforehand. And that's all part of life. And I think it's also part of maturing as well, or going through life, that it is okay and things happen. And life is still great. Life can still be amazing. And even with a mistake or something not great happening along the way, to be thankful. And I am to be thankful for the horses and what they've given me, and so much in life. I mean, it's amazing. The farm, where I've been and everything, to always be thankful. And for sure, you fall off at the World Cup finals or things happen in your life, life goes on, and it's okay. That's just part of it. And to be able to share that, actually, I think it's good. I think it's okay.
Yeah, agreed. And what was the last thing that took your breath away?
The last thing that took my breath away. I think, took my breath away. That's hard. Really took my breath away was maybe a big win, Aachen or Monterey or something in that sense. But also, seeing our team win, winning. So proud of our teams in last year, the 3-star teams in Caledon and Traverse City, even though, they're 3-star teams, but they were U.S. teams, and to really go and that we really won, and that you fight for those kind of things. Very exciting, very, again, passionate about those victories.
Yeah. Cool.
Great.
Well, thanks again. We really love talking
Thank you
with
so
you.
much.
Yeah, well, thank you. It was really fun. And I love horses and my life, and it's great if we can share it. And I think you girls are doing a wonderful job, so keep it up.
you.
I think it's great for the community and our equestrian world. And
Yeah.
Appreciate
it.
Yeah.
It was really cool to talk to Anne today. Like we said in the beginning, I was a groom for her FEI horses in 2003 and 2004. So it's been a really long time, but I still think about what they taught me, she and Hoffy, about horses and horse care. And, it was really hard work. And like she said about perfection and how she's become a little easier about, letting things go and not being as controlling of everything.
Yeah.
They certainly weren't easy to work for. I will say that, but I think it's necessary when you're at that level, and you have to trust people to take care of these horses, and you have to have high expectations of the people who are working for you. But it really taught me a lot about work ethic and putting the horse first. So it was cool to hear what she's done and how she's changed since then.
Yeah, and evolved. And she seems like the type of person that also worked really hard.
For sure. Yes. You could never say like, oh, I'm working harder than Anne and Hoffy, because we weren't.
Right. Right.
We may have been up at 5 a.m. unloading the hay truck, but, they were always there and, always up to date on everything. So, yeah, definitely set a really good example.
Yeah. And it's great that she's evolved and been able to become more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes people just get stuck and then they don't evolve. And so, listening to her say that and, how it's kind of shaping her in teaching and going forward with her students and being a little more relatable is great.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of what's expected now.
Yeah.
I think, especially with kids that want to be able to relate to you and to understand that they're not in this alone, and that their experiences are not just one thing. It didn't just happen to them.
Yeah. And I love that story talking about her falling off. on her birthday.
I never heard that before.
But I mean, that's great that she shared that. But it also like makes you human.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we look at these people and we idolize them. I mean, growing up, I idolized her, a
Yes.
star. Like, never in a million years, if you asked me, I would be sitting here doing a podcast with Anne Kursinski when I was like 10 years old. I would have had no idea. Right?
Same.
So, it's kind of cool that it kind of makes her human. And it also, like, I think about this a lot, especially like playing golf, and I'm so bad. And then, then I'll get a birdie and I'll be like, I don't know where that came from. But like literally professionals in all sports have those moments where
For sure.
things happen, I mean, how many times have you watched a jumper round and somebody like, oh, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
chips to a jump, and you're like, oh, well, they do it too. Sometimes they miss.
Yeah.
So I think I appreciate that she was like talking about that and told that story, because if we got some kids listening, like, it's okay.
Yes. Life goes on.
Yeah.
Then that's the lesson, right? Is getting back up and learning from it and doing better next time,
Yeah.
or keep trying.
Yes.
Like she said, like that, when she was talking about in the beginning, she's like, I don't know. It just happened. It just worked out. I was like, oh, you're exactly like our friend Maria.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, yep, that's the mindset. Like, that mindset I appreciate so much, because they're just like, no, it's going to work out. Like,
Right.
it's, you know what? Yeah, I put it out there and it's coming back to me. Manifested it, however, put it out there. And that's Maria all the time.
Right.
Too. So
And it was, but I think she was able to also recognize and tell, who contributed to making
Yes.
those things happen.
Yes.
Right. It wasn't just a whim and,
Right.
whatever happens.
Yeah.
She did put things in place and had the team to make those dreams happen.
right. And I also caught where she said she was grateful.
Yeah.
And I think that is a huge part of it too. And everybody that listens knows I have a gratitude journal, and I think that's a huge part of it. Like, just being grateful for what you've had, what the horses have given her, me,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely an important part of it as well.
Right. So I think it was wonderful to have somebody in person again.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll do more of these in the future and, be able to share that, not only listening, but watching too.
Yeah, because it's just, I feel such a connection when we're in person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great when we do the video ones, but like the actual in-person ones, I've really enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to doing more.
Me too.
And you can find the links to today's guest and show notes at www.eqbusinesswomen.com.
And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Also, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review of wherever you get your podcasts, or on our new YouTube page where you can watch. So thanks for listening and watching.